Across the endless river of time, whispers of wisdom still echo. In ancient temples beneath the silent stars, through forgotten scrolls and fading tales. Great masters once spoke. Their words were not confined to their own era. They were seeds planted for every generation to come. In a world of endless noise, distractions, and haste, perhaps now more than ever, we are called to listen. Today, let us journey back through the corridors of time, uncovering 5 ancient lessons that, if embraced, could change your life forever. Lessons not meant to be admired like relics in a museum, but to be lived, breathed, and carried into every heartbeat of your existence. The ancients may not have had our technology, but they understood something far deeper, the essence of life itself. They observed the rising sun with gratitude, the flowing rivers with patience, the changing seasons with acceptance. They learned that true strength lies not in domination, but in self-mastery. They knew that happiness is not accumulated, but uncovered from within. Their wisdom was carved not into stone monuments, but into the living fabric of human experience. As the modern world races forward, it is easy to forget these timeless truths, but if we dare to pause to listen, to reflect, we may find treasures more valuable than any invention. Let us now step into this ancient light. Expanded Lesson 1. Control your mind. Control your world. In the ancient courts of Greece, under marble columns and the endless blue skies, wise men gathered to speak of the soul. Among them, the Stoic philosophers offered a teaching so profound, yet so deceptively simple, that it would echo across millennia. It is not events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Epictetus, once a slave and later a revered teacher, understood this truth better than most shackled in chains. He realized a reality that few free men grasped: no external force, no cruelty of fate, no turn of fortune could truly enslave a man who mastered his own mind. He taught that while we may not command the circumstances of life, the illnesses, the betrayals, the deaths, the injustices, we hold sovereign authority over our responses. That authority is the seat of true freedom. Imagine 2 men standing in the face of a violent storm. One curses the heavens, wailing against the winds, railing against fate, lost in bitterness and fear. The other quietly builds a shelter, securing his foundations, and smiles with resilience. Both encounter the same storm, yet one is destroyed by it. The other is strengthened. The difference lies not in the storm, but in the mind confronting it. Life's storms are inevitable. There will be days when darkness descends without warning. There will be losses so deep they seem to hollow out the heart. There will be betrayals that shatter our trust, failures that cripple our ambitions. But how we interpret these moments, how we choose to see them, to respond to them, will shape the architecture of our souls. Control your mind, and you control your world. Lose your mind, and you become a leaf tossed helplessly by every gust of misfortune. The mind as fortress. The Stoics spoke of the mind as a citadel, a fortress that no enemy could breach without permission. Your thoughts are your walls, your values, your defenses. When insults come, they strike against the outer stones, but cannot reach your inner sanctum unless you open the gates. When failure arrives, it pounds at your doors, but has no power to topple them unless you yield. You are the guardian of your mind. If you leave it unguarded, invaders of anger, fear, envy, and despair will storm in and seize your peace. If you guard it well, no matter the chaos outside, within, there will be calm. The power of perception. A broken cup is not a tragedy. It is simply a broken cup. An unkind word is not a catastrophe. It is merely a sound, an opinion. It is we who layer meaning upon events. It is we who declare, "This is unbearable," or "This is unjust," or "This is the end." The event itself is neutral. Our perception colors it. By mastering perception, we reclaim power. By choosing to see opportunity in hardships, we transform obstacles into teachers. By choosing to see insults as empty noise, we disarm them, training the mind. But mastery of the mind is not given, it is earned. Like any great discipline, it requires training patience and relentless practice. Every day offers a battlefield, a place to rehearse. Courage, patience, and clarity. The rude driver, the unexpected bill, the delayed plans, each is a sparring partner. We can react impulsively, throwing away our peace for the price of a fleeting anger. Or we can pause, breathe, and remember, this moment is mine to govern. Each small victory strengthens the mind. Each moment of restraint lays another stone in the fortress. Each mindful choice sharpens our inner sword. Over time, the mind becomes not a fragile reed, bending in every breeze, but a mighty oak rooted deep, unmoved by storms. Historical examples of mastery. Consider Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, ruler of the known world. Though plagued by wars, betrayal plagues, and the constant burden of leadership, he wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He did not seek escape from difficulty, he sought mastery within it. Or reflect upon Viktor Frankl, a 20th century Stoic in spirit, who endured the unspeakable horrors of Nazi concentration camps. Stripped of all external freedoms, he discovered the final human freedom, the ability to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. He wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." Their lives separated by centuries sing the same truth: the mind, when rightly governed, is indomitable. Practical applications in modern life. In our era, storms look different, but strike just as fiercely. A scathing email, a lost opportunity, a broken relationship, a frightening diagnosis. The temptation is immediate: rage, despair, self-pity. But if we pause, if we refuse the knee-jerk reaction, we open a door to a different possibility. We can reframe: this is a chance to grow patience. This setback may be redirecting me to something better. This insult reveals more about them than about me. We reclaim authorship of our story. We become not victims of circumstance, but artisans of meaning, the cost of abdication. When we fail to master our minds, we are enslaved to every opinion, every rumor, every shift in fortune. Our moods become yo-yos pulled by invisible hands. Our peace becomes a hostage, ransomed by events beyond our control. We live not as sovereign beings, but as beggars at the altar of external validation. Thus, the cost of failing to control the mind is nothing less than the loss of freedom itself, the reward of mastery. Conversely, when we claim dominion over our minds, we unlock a wellspring of inner strength. We become calm amidst chaos, grateful amidst loss, hopeful amidst uncertainty, joyful amidst simplicity. Such a person is a rare treasure in any age. Such a person becomes a beacon in dark times, a lighthouse for others lost at sea. A daily practice. Let us then resolve each day to guard the gates of perception, to question our first reactions, to seek clarity before judgment, to respond with wisdom, not impulse. Let us remember that the storms will come and the winds will howl, but if our minds are anchored deep, we shall not be moved. A final reflection. Control your mind and you control your world. You cannot command the seas. You cannot still the winds. You cannot stop the sun from setting. But you can, within your own heart, light a fire that no darkness can extinguish. You can build within yourself a kingdom of peace, ruled by wisdom, guarded by patience, adorned by courage. And when the storms come, as they always will, you will not merely survive. You will stand unshaken, unafraid, and utterly free. Expanded Lesson 2. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Lao Tzu, the ancient sage and father of Taoism, walked the earth with a profound lightness. He carried few possessions, wore simple robes, and spoke words that flowed like rivers, gentle yet carving deep canyons in the hearts of those wise enough to listen. He taught that the wise man accumulates not wealth, not power, not recognition, but emptiness. Emptiness, not as void, but as spaciousness, room for wonder, room for peace, room for the spontaneous dance of life. Socrates, the philosopher of Athens, known for his razor-sharp mind and relentless questioning, lived with almost nothing. He owned little more than a simple robe and a clay cup. When someone marveled at how little he possessed, Socrates smiled and said, "How many things I can do without?" In a world obsessed with accumulation, the ancients pointed to a different horizon: freedom through simplicity, the burden of excess. Today we are told that more is better. More gadgets, more clothes, more followers, more likes, more recognition, more ambition. Yet the more we gather, the heavier we seem to become. Each new possession demands attention, maintenance, protection. Each new accolade stokes the fire of insecurity. Will I lose it? Am I enough without it? The burden of excess is not merely physical. It is mental, emotional, spiritual. It clouds the mind, weighs down the heart, entangles the spirit. We think we are building lives of abundance, but often we are merely building prisons with golden bars. Simplicity is liberation. The ancients understood that true abundance is not in what you own, but in what you can joyfully live without. When you require little, every small blessing becomes a feast. When you seek less, you notice more. When you clear the clutter, you see the stars. Simplicity is not poverty. It is clarity. It is the clear pool that reflects the moon perfectly. It is the open hand, ready to receive whatever life brings. Simplicity does not mean you must renounce the world and live in a cave. It means living with intention. It means choosing quality over quantity, depth over distraction, being over having. The beauty of the uncluttered life. Imagine a home with only a few cherished items, each one loved and useful. Imagine a calendar with open spaces, not crammed with endless obligations. Imagine a mind free from the constant buzz of comparison and craving. In such a life, beauty emerges naturally. There is room for silence. There is space for wonder. There is time to sit quietly with a friend, to feel the breeze, to listen to the song of the earth. Historical examples: the Buddha, born into princely luxury, renounced his riches to walk the earth as a wandering monk. He carried all he needed in a small bowl. Diogenes, the Greek philosopher, lived in a barrel, owning nothing. When Alexander the Great visited him and offered anything he desired, Diogenes merely said, "Stand out of my sunlight." These are not stories of deprivation. They are stories of liberation. By needing little, these great souls were beholden to no one. They walked the world, not as beggars, but as kings of the inner realm. Why simplicity matters now more than ever. Our modern world is a symphony of distractions. Notifications blink. Advertisements shout. Trends rise and fall like restless tides. We are urged to run faster, acquire more, do more, be more. Yet in this race, many lose themselves. Simplicity is a radical act in a noisy age. It is an act of reclaiming your soul from the marketplace. It is an act of remembering what truly matters. Family health, kindness time, to wonder, to create, to love. Practicing simplicity. Simplicity does not happen by accident. It must be chosen, cultivated, protected. Begin by asking, what is essential? Look around your home. What brings joy? What brings burden? Look into your calendar. What commitments nourish you and which deplete you? Look into your heart. What desires arise from your deepest self and which are echoes of the crowd? Start small. Clear a drawer. Take a slow walk without your phone. Say no to one unnecessary obligation. Each small step creates space. Each act of letting go invites freedom, the joy of enough. When you live simply, you discover the joy of enough. You sip your morning tea and feel rich beyond measure. You watch the sunset and know abundance. You share a simple meal with friends and feel like royalty. Enough is a revolutionary idea in a culture of endless hunger, but it is the key to lasting happiness. Inner simplicity. Simplicity is not just about possessions or schedules. It is about the heart. It is releasing grudges. It is silencing the inner critic. It is choosing forgiveness over resentment, presence over anxiety, love over fear. An uncluttered heart moves lightly through the world. It laughs more easily. It weeps more freely. It loves more deeply. Simplicity and greatness. Leonardo da Vinci said, "Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. The greatest art is not the most complicated. It is the most true. The greatest lives are not the most crowded. They are the most centered. To strip away the non-essential is not to diminish life, but to reveal its essence. To walk lightly is not to be weak, but to be wise." A final reflection. Simplicity is not the absence of ambition. It is the presence of clarity. It is living with eyes wide open. It is carrying what matters and leaving the rest. When we walk the path of simplicity, we do not lose. We gain. We gain peace. We gain freedom. We gain the deep, enduring joy that comes not from having it all, but from loving well what we have. Thus, the ancient masters invite us. Shed the unnecessary travel light. Live fully, for in simplicity, we do not diminish life. We amplify its beauty. Expanded Lesson 3. Patience builds empires. In a forgotten village under the patient watch of ancient hills and the endless turning of the seasons, a wise farmer decided to plant bamboo seed. The first year passed. Every morning he woke before the sun carried water to the soil, knelt down and tended to what seemed like nothing. The earth remained bare, and the villagers began to murmur. They laughed behind their hands, calling him a dreamer, a fool. The second year unfolded in the same way. Rain and sun, cold and heat, and yet still not a single green shoot broke through the ground. The farmer, undeterred, continued to water, to weed, to whisper encouragement to the empty soil. The third year, the fourth, still nothing. By now the laughter had turned to ridicule. Children mimicked him in the streets. Neighbors advised him to give up, to plant something real, something practical. His family pleaded with him to abandon his futile efforts, but the farmer only smiled. He knew something they did not. Beneath the surface, hidden from the mocking eyes of the village, a miracle was unfolding. In the fifth year, almost overnight, the bamboo broke through the soil. It grew with astonishing speed, 80 feet in just 6 weeks. What the villagers could not see was that all those silent years, the bamboo had been building a vast and intricate root system, deep and wide. Without that foundation, it could not have sustained its sudden towering ascent. The lesson of the bamboo. True greatness does not announce itself with fanfare. It germinates in silence. It does not rise quickly, nor is it easily seen by those who judge by appearances. It builds foundations, slow, steady, unseen. The bamboo teaches us that patience is not passive waiting. It is active preparation. It is the daily tending to dreams that show no immediate result. It is the silent labor of character, of skills of spirit when growth finally bursts into view. It is not magic. It is the visible fruit of invisible perseverance, the modern illusion of instant success. In today's world, we are seduced by stories of overnight success, and we celebrate the viral sensation, the sudden millionaire, the instant fame. But behind every overnight success lies years of unseen effort, countless failures, quiet disciplines practiced when no one was watching. The artist who labored in obscurity, the entrepreneur who failed 10 times before the 11th idea took flight, the healer who spent decades mastering the art of compassion. Without deep roots, even the most dazzling rise collapses at the first storm. Patience as a builder of character. Patience is not merely enduring the passage of time, it is how we endure. It is what we build in the waiting. Patience tempers ambition into wisdom. It transforms frustration into resilience. It shapes passion into perseverance. Impatience demands immediate results. It panics at obstacles, despairs at delays, but patience smiles at slow progress, knowing that what is worth building is worth waiting for. The bamboo farmer did not water the ground because he saw results. He watered because he believed. Historical lessons of patience. The Great Wall of China was not built in a year, nor a decade. It stretched across centuries, built stone by hands that would never live to see its completion. Leonardo da Vinci spent 4 years painting the Mona Lisa, and countless more refining his skills beforehand. The Roman Empire took hundreds of years to rise, brick upon brick, law upon law, idea upon idea, the greatest civilizations, the greatest works of art, the greatest human achievements. All were born of patient, persistent labor, the inner architecture of patience. Patience demands humility, the humility to accept that we are not fully in control. Patience demands faith, the faith that unseen work will yield fruit in its own time. Patience demands discipline, the daily choosing to act, to prepare, to nurture, even when results seem distant. Patience is not waiting idly. It is living actively within the mystery of time. It is embracing the season of planting without demanding an immediate harvest. The deep roots we build. Every act of perseverance builds invisible roots. Every late-night study session, every early morning workout, every act of kindness without recognition, every apology made with sincerity, each moment lays another strand in the vast unseen network of strength that will one day sustain towering heights. We may not see it day by day. Others may mock, misunderstand, belittle. But when the time comes, when the season turns, when the fruits ripen, the depth of your roots will be revealed. Patience in relationships. Love does not blossom instantly. Trust is not built overnight. Friendship is a slow weaving of shared laughter, tested loyalty, small acts of kindness. The ancients knew that human hearts, like fields, require seasons of sowing, tending, waiting. The patient gardener of relationships cultivates forgiveness, understanding, and grace. And in time, they harvest connections that weather all storms. Patience in personal growth. The journey inward, to wisdom, to peace, to true self-knowledge, is a slow and winding path. There will be false starts, regressions, dark nights of the soul, but every meditation, every moment of honesty, every humble step forward builds the architecture of the soul. The ancients understood becoming is greater than arriving, the danger of forcing growth. Impatience leads to ruin. A farmer who digs up his seeds each day to check their growth kills them. A builder who rushes the laying of a foundation ensures the collapse of his house. Forced growth is fragile. True growth is organic, unfolding in rhythm with deeper laws. Trust the process. Trust the seasons. Trust that roots are building even when nothing is visible. A final reflection. In the story of the bamboo, the magic was never in the sudden growth. It was in the years of silent labor beneath the surface. So too in our lives, the unseen hours, the silent sacrifices, the steady tending of dreams. These are the seeds of greatness. Empires are not built overnight. Characters are not forged in comfort. Love is not deepened in haste. Wisdom is not rushed. The bamboo taught the farmer, and it teaches us that patience is not weakness. It is strength in its purest form. It is power growing unseen. So water your dreams. Tend your roots. Smile through the barren seasons. For the time will come when all that is hidden will rise, and those who mocked will marvel, and you, standing tall, will know it was patience that built your empire. Expanded Lesson 4. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. In the quiet mornings of ancient times, before tasks and troubles filled the day, people bowed their heads in silent gratitude, not for wealth nor for grand victories, but simply for breath, sunlight, and life itself. Gratitude was a way of living, not an occasional feeling. It wove its way into prayers, songs, and simple daily rituals. A loaf of bread, a clear sky, a kind word. All were seen as gifts, not entitlements. Today, surrounded by abundance, we often feel emptier than ever. Modern life teaches us that happiness lies in more possessions, more praise, more achievement. Yet the ancients remind us happiness lies in noticing, not accumulating. A grateful heart transforms how we see the world. The ungrateful see scarcity. The grateful see abundance. The restless see obstacles. The grateful see lessons. The weary see routine. The grateful find wonder. Gratitude is not denying pain. It is embracing beauty alongside sorrow. It is finding a spark of joy even in brokenness. Consider Epictetus, born a slave crippled by cruelty, yet teaching the freedom of a mind filled with gratitude. Or Anne Frank, surrounded by darkness, who still saw the beauty that remains. Gratitude does not erase suffering, it gives it meaning. Practicing gratitude is simple yet powerful. Notice one thing each morning to be thankful for. Speak appreciation aloud. Write down small blessings at night. Gratitude is a rebellion against the culture of never enough. It anchors us in the richness already present. A breath, a smile, a shared moment. In gratitude, we find that life, even in its imperfections, is already full. We realize that happiness is not waiting beyond the next achievement, but quietly blooming within what we already have. The ancients knew. We need not chase more to find joy. We need only to open our eyes. In every heartbeat, in every sunrise, in every small act of kindness, a life whispers, "You are blessed." And when we answer with gratitude, life itself becomes enough. Expanded Lesson 5. Live with integrity. Die with honor. Across ancient cultures, from the samurai of Japan to the Stoic philosophers of Rome, one truth was clear. To live without honor was not to live at all. Integrity is more than honesty. It is the unity of thought, word, and action. It is being the same person in light and in shadow, choosing right even when no one is watching. Honor is not the fleeting applause of crowds. It is the quiet, enduring respect you earn from your own soul. It is the inner whisper that says, "I have lived true." The ancients taught that honor is built not by grand gestures, but by small, invisible choices. Speaking truth when lying would be easier. Keeping promises when it costs you. Choosing kindness when cruelty would profit more. The samurai lived by Bushido, a code where loyalty, discipline, and courage outweighed even life itself. The Stoics taught that virtue, not fame or wealth, was the only true good. Their lives remind us external success fades, character endures. Today, the world often rewards compromise. It urges shortcuts, excuses, and shallow victories. But the ancients warn us, a life without integrity is a hollow shell. A heart without honor is a broken compass. Integrity is freedom. When you walk in truth, you fear no exposure, seek no false praise. You become rooted, unshakable. Honor is not reserved for heroes of history. It is born in the small moments, returning what is not yours, defending the vulnerable, choosing patience over anger. Every choice builds the architecture of your soul. The ancients urge us to ask, what will remain when the noise fades? What will endure when all else is stripped away? Live with integrity. Die with honor, not for the world's approval, but for the legacy whispered in the winds of time. For in the end, wealth will vanish, achievements will be forgotten, but honor shines forever. These 5 lessons are not dusty relics of a forgotten past. They are living torches waiting for you to carry them into a world that desperately needs light. Control your mind, cherish simplicity, embrace patience, celebrate gratitude. Walk with honor. These are not easy paths, but they are true paths, and they are waiting for you. If these ancient teachings have touched your heart, do not let them fade like whispers on the wind. Honor this wisdom, not only by remembering it, but by sharing it. Like this video. If the lesson spoke to your soul, share it with those who walk their own paths of growth. Subscribe to our channel. Every click, every share, every voice adds to a chorus that carries ancient truths into the modern world. Let us walk this journey together, hand in hand, with the masters who came before us, and with those yet to awaken.